The profound relationship between human existence and divine instruction is not a matter of choice, but a fundamental axis upon which a life of true purpose spins. We are often conditioned to seek out thunderous pronouncements or flashing signs, the cinematic, Old Testament-style directive that leaves no room for doubt. Yet, the quiet, persistent truth is that the Supreme Architect has already laid out the master plan, not on stone tablets alone, but within a document accessible to all. The question is not if the plan exists, but how often we truly consult the living blueprint, the sacred text that guides our every footing. This isn't about blind adherence to archaic rules. It's about a deeply intelligent surrender to a wisdom that vastly transcends our own limited scope. The essence of this surrender lies in recognizing that the word provided is a complete and sufficient guide. Our human inclination is to demand a full disclosure, a step-by-step roadmap for the next decade, before we take the very first step. But the divine process frequently operates on a need-to-know basis, a deliberate strategy to nurture a far more valuable commodity: unwavering faith. Consider this: if the entire journey were illuminated, where would the necessity for trust reside? True obedience begins not when the path is clear, but when the instruction, though challenging, is understood as originating from the ultimate authority. This exploration into the dynamics of yielding to a higher will is just beginning, and what is revealed in the next section regarding the true cost of hesitation will fundamentally change your perspective on everyday decisions. Don't miss the deep dive into why clarity is often withheld for our greater benefit. If this first reflection has resonated with the deepest chambers of your understanding, please show your appreciation by tapping that like button. Leave a comment detailing one area where you struggle with surrendering control, and subscribe now so you don't miss the profound insights coming up. The inseparable synergy between obedience and belief is the engine of spiritual progress. They are two halves of a single, powerful whole. You cannot have one without the other flourishing. Many assume they must feel certain before they act, yet the true mechanism is reversed. We act in faith, and the certainty follows. This is precisely why the divine often abstains from offering us a detailed architectural rendering. If we possessed the complete, detailed plan, the act of following would cease to be an act of faith and become mere logistical compliance. The narrative of the progenitor of many nations stands as the ultimate case study in this principle. His command was terrifying in its simplicity, devoid of explanation, negotiation, or comfort. The instruction to offer up the son he cherished was the ultimate test of fidelity. The chronicled reaction was not one of debate, bargaining, or bitter complaint. It was immediate, quiet, and definitive action. He did not seek to rationalize with the infinite mind or subject the divine word to his own emotional calculus. He simply and profoundly obeyed. This level of radical trust is not an antiquated ideal. It is the vital ingredient missing in much of our modern striving. We spend so much energy trying to figure things out, to engineer the solution ourselves, when the most powerful move is often the simplest: to accept the written command as the highest truth, regardless of how it conflicts with our temporal reasoning, before moving to the next part, which addresses the shocking contradiction between worldly wisdom and divine truth. Consider the power of this radical surrender. Did you find this concept challenging or liberating? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you value this journey of challenging your conventional thinking, please ensure you've hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to like this video to keep this crucial content flowing. Stay with us, because the impending discussion on self-deception is a must. Imagine the transformative impact if our personal mantra echoed the ancient, powerful conviction: if the divine word contains it, then I am compelled to act on it. This is not merely aspirational thinking. It is the blueprint for a profoundly disciplined and focused life. Consider some of the seemingly counterintuitive instructions given to us. When faced with aggression, the world screams for retaliation, for a proportional and swift counterstrike. Yet, the higher instruction directs a revolutionary, non-resistant response to offer the other side of your humanity. When society normalizes the acceptance of any and all association, the guiding text warns clearly that toxic companionship inevitably erodes good moral structure. To follow this is to deliberately choose isolation over contamination, a decision often ridiculed in the current social climate. When anxiety attempts to grip the soul, the divine command is simple: dismiss fear, reject worry, pray without ceasing, and remain unburdened by anxiety for anything. Our soul, primary mandate then becomes to believe and execute the instruction. These are not suggestions for a perfect life, they are precise, life-altering commands. The moment we try to inject our own reason or exceptions into these directives, we begin the perilous slide into spiritual compromise. Our benefit in embracing this type of uncompromising adherence is immeasurable, leading to a life that is truly aligned with ultimate peace and enduring purpose. Are you willing to embrace instructions that run completely counter to your intuition? The forthcoming part reveals the extraordinary reward that flows from absolute trust, the kind that transformed an impossible test into an eternal legacy. You must keep watching for this pivotal moment. If you are serious about upgrading your spiritual insight, take a moment to hit the like button and leave a quick comment sharing a challenging instruction you're striving to follow. And of course, ensure you are subscribed for the continuous flow of transformative content. The ultimate payoff for radical trust is not merely a psychological sense of satisfaction, it is a documented, tangible transformation of destiny. When the ultimate test of fidelity was passed, when the patriarch demonstrated his willingness to withhold nothing, not even his most cherished possession, the response was monumental. The divine commitment was sealed with an oath sworn by the ultimate power itself, a promise of unparalleled prosperity, descendants too numerous to count, an ultimate triumph over adversaries. The consequence of his unqualified obedience was an eternal covenant of blessing. This is the divine pattern. The most significant rewards are reserved for those who execute the instruction regardless of the cost or lack of understanding. The moment of highest demand precipitates the moment of greatest provision. However, it is essential to explore the dark and often ignored counterpoint to this principle. While unparalleled blessing awaits the obedient, an equally potent force awaits the resistant. The path of self-determination, the decision to chart a course, independent of the established divine guidance, is fraught with inevitable suffering. The subsequent part will pivot to the profound pain that accompanies self-will, explaining why choosing your own path is effectively claiming to be wiser than the Creator. This insight is critical for avoiding fatal spiritual error. If this realization about the direct correlation between surrender and blessing has moved you, please make sure you like the video and leave a powerful comment about the greatest blessing you've seen, resulting from a moment of obedience. Subscribe now and join us as we uncover the painful architecture of disobedience. We must confront the difficult truth. Disobedience carries an unavoidable, painful toll. When the human ego dictates a preference, when we actively choose a different route than the one clearly signposted in the divine text, we are essentially making an audacious claim that we possess superior knowledge to the divine mind. This is the root of profound self-deception and the source of immense, avoidable suffering. The world is full of pathways that appear logical, practical, or expedient to the untrained eye. There is always a course of action that feels right to our temporary, biased understanding. Yet, the timeless warning remains etched in the foundational wisdom. What seems entirely correct and reasonable to a person frequently culminates in ultimate spiritual or moral disaster. The seemingly right way often leads to an end we desperately sought to avoid. To decide to proceed according to one's own limited perspective, circumventing the clear instructions, is to willfully invite conflict and consequence. Every act of self-will is a declaration of independence from the only source of enduring wisdom, and that independence always exacts a price. The painful reality is that we are not smart enough to outthink the supreme intelligence, and every attempt to do so results in a self-inflicted wound. The next segment will shift from the theoretical pain of disobedience to a moment of deep introspection, leading into a prayer that recenters our need for higher guidance. Do you recognize the paths in your own life that seemed right but led to regret? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. This reflection is crucial for the next step. So please hit the like button and ensure you are subscribed to continue this essential journey of realignment. The realization that our human-centric standards are fundamentally flawed, often falling catastrophically short of the established divine criteria, is the beginning of true wisdom. We establish metrics for success, righteousness, and justice that are invariably tainted by our fallen nature and immediate desires. Our perspective is limited, earthbound, and biased, constantly seeking the path of least resistance or greatest personal gain. This inherent flaw necessitates a constant, humble surrender to a higher text and a higher authority. We urgently require constant, moment-by-moment guidance, not just from a historical document, but from the indwelling spirit of counsel. This spirit is our navigator, helping us engage in the vital, internal battle of faith. We are praying for a profound outpouring of this guidance, a spiritual saturation that sharpens our ability to perceive what is truly good and what is deceptively evil. We must pray for a deep sensitivity to the sacred, simultaneously cultivating a strong aversion to the polluted doctrines and worldly philosophies that constantly attempt to infiltrate and corrupt our moral compass. Our goal is to stand unyielding, refusing to be bent or bowed by the prevalent, corrosive influences of the surrounding culture. The forthcoming section focuses on the singularity of the divine, the undeniable fact that there is no competition for the ultimate authority. This realization is foundational to true obedience. Do you feel the urgency of relying on the Holy Spirit for daily guidance? Let me know in the comments. If this call to reliance resonates with you, please like and subscribe, because the revelation in the next part concerning the supremacy of the divine has the power to silence all doubt. The foundational anchor of our willingness to obey is the absolute, unquestionable truth that there is no rival to the ultimate power. The declaration is timeless and uncompromising. I am the sovereign, and there is no other. There is no God besides me. This statement dismantles all human pretense, all competing philosophies, and all idols we might erect in our hearts. There is simply no equal, no contender, no entity that shares the throne of wisdom and authority. This truth must permeate our spirit, extinguishing the temptation to follow our volatile feelings or fleeting intellectual theories. We must ask for the creation of an obedient spirit within us, one that consciously chooses the stability of the divine instruction over the chaos of our personal emotions. This is a profound shift, to let go of the need for self-determination and embrace the liberation of submission. It requires an internal, transformative work to remove the insidious roots of doubt and self-will. We must submit to the ultimate method and the ultimate will, asking for the strength to reject the human tendency to negotiate or evade. This submission is not weakness. It is the most powerful act of the will, recognizing where true strength and wisdom reside. In the next segment, we will address the brutal reality of the internal struggle, the battle with our own nature that makes obedience so challenging. This is a critical insight you cannot afford to miss. What prevents you from fully submitting your will? Share your honest reflections in the comments below. If you are committed to this path of submission, please like the video and subscribe so you don't miss the powerful guidance coming next. The internal conflict is real, a brutal, persistent war waged against the carnal nature, which is inherently resistant to divine mandates. We must recognize that yielding to the higher will is never a passive, easy process, precisely because of the ingrained, sinful inclinations of the flesh. In these inevitable moments of intense struggle, when our instincts scream for the opposite of what is commanded, we desperately need external, spiritual assistance. We must pray for the power of the Holy Spirit to intervene directly, providing the necessary strength and fortification to overcome internal resistance. The goal is to evolve into believers who possess an unshakable certainty that every demand made upon us, every trial we are asked to endure, every instruction given, is ultimately designed to work for our greatest possible good. This is a conviction that transcends temporary hardship. It is the assurance that the author of our faith knows the final chapter and is orchestrating the process flawlessly. Without this profound certainty, the struggle becomes overwhelming, and the temptation to revert to self-direction becomes almost irresistible. We must cultivate a deep-seated belief that the divine requirements are not burdens, but customized assignments leading to an elevated destiny. The discussion now turns to a revolutionary concept: finding joy in the most difficult tests of faith. You won't believe the transformative power of this shift in perspective, which will be detailed in the upcoming portion. Please hit the like button if you've ever felt this internal struggle, and leave a comment about how you've managed to find strength in those challenging moments. Subscribe to ensure you witness the revelation on finding joy in perseverance. A completely revolutionary way to view hardship is not as an unfortunate deviation, but as an integral component of spiritual growth, a cause for profound celebration. The instruction is to consider it pure, unadulterated joy when navigating trials of every imaginable kind. This is radically counterintuitive to the human experience, which naturally views suffering as something to be avoided at all costs. The wisdom, however, lies in understanding the hidden mechanism of testing. The pressure applied to our belief system is not meant to crush us, but to forge something resilient and magnificent. The testing of our fidelity produces perseverance, a staying power that is indispensable for a meaningful life. And the divine process is clear. Perseverance must be allowed to complete its deep, transformative work. This endurance is the catalyst that matures us, leading us to a state of completeness and maturity, lacking absolutely nothing required for our purpose. The trials are not punishments, they are the curriculum for mastery. We must embrace the heat of the forge, knowing it is producing a soul that is unbreakable and thoroughly equipped. The next segment will reveal the ultimate aspiration that flows from this mindset, reaching a state where sacrifice is a delight. This is the zenith of spiritual ambition. If this idea of finding joy in trials is challenging your current thinking, let me know in the comments. Please like this video and subscribe to follow the journey toward ultimate spiritual maturity. The ultimate aspiration is to reach a level of faith and spiritual fortitude where sacrifice is not a burden but a delight. This involves arriving at a stage where the act of carrying one's necessary cross and following the divine path is an expression of deep, internal joy, not begrudging obligation. The desire is to attain a personal state where the relentless pursuit of moral excellence and the daily discipline of denying the lower, self-centered desires of the flesh become a source of true satisfaction. This requires an internal reordering of priorities, a profound calibration where the love for the divine, the deep, passionate desire for connection and communion, utterly eclipses every other attachment and desire in the world. The mundane, temporary attractions that so often compete for our attention must lose their luster in comparison to the magnificence of the higher calling. We are praying for this love to become an unquenchable flame, a dominating force that guides every decision and reaction. This love is the fuel for ultimate obedience and the antidote to worldly distraction. The forthcoming section transitions into a moment of gratitude and trust, confirming that our deepest aspirations for obedience have been acknowledged. This is a powerful shift from petition to assurance. What is the single worldly desire you are praying for your love for the divine to eclipse? Share your commitment in the comments. If you are serious about this internal reordering, please like this video and subscribe to seal this prayer with us. With the understanding of the immense, transformative power of this journey, the journey toward a truly willing and obedient heart, we now move to a posture of deep gratitude and firm belief. We trust and affirm the conviction that these profound petitions for guidance, strength, and unwavering fidelity have been heard by the ultimate listener. This is not a moment for casual hope, but for firm, spiritual assurance. The ongoing process now is to cooperate with the divine internal work, continuing to actively cultivate a spirit that is both receptive and eager. We are praying for a perpetually willing disposition, an open and ready heart, and a consistent, obedient spirit that responds swiftly and completely to every single instruction found in the guiding text. The conclusion of this moment of profound commitment marks a new starting point, a life dedicated to not just hearing the word, but to the challenging, rewarding, and ultimately transformative act of doing. The penultimate part will consolidate everything discussed, emphasizing the unity of the faithful in this shared commitment. We are nearing the conclusion of this intense reflection, and the final thoughts are designed to solidify your resolve. Did you feel the assurance that your deepest desires for spiritual growth are being addressed? Let me know in the comments. For those who have stayed committed to this powerful truth, please like this video and subscribe to stand in unity with this shared conviction. The journey outlined in the preceding sections is a shared and communal commitment, a universal pursuit among all who seek to align their temporal existence with eternal purpose. We have traversed the necessity of relinquishing the demand for a detailed blueprint, understanding that the absence of a complete map is the very crucible of faith. We have confronted the painful reality that self-will inevitably leads to consequence, while radical obedience unlocks unprecedented, sworn blessings. We have acknowledged the fundamental flaw in our own moral compass, establishing the absolute necessity for the constant, powerful counsel of the Holy Spirit to navigate the complex challenges of a world that constantly attempts to pull us off course. The entire discussion pivots on the singular truth of a peerless, unchallenged authority and the ultimate, liberating aspiration, finding joy and maturity in the persistent testing of our convictions. This is not a solitary path, but a collective one, where the power of shared intention strengthens the resolve of every individual soul. The final, culminating section will offer the ultimate takeaway and a powerful final reflection on the nature of this higher calling. Do not miss this concluding thought, which summarizes the entire discussion. What is the single, most impactful insight you will carry forward from the entirety of this profound discourse? Share it in the comments. If this entire journey has clarified your path, please give this video a powerful like and solidify your commitment by subscribing right now. The ultimate realization is that the higher path is not paved with ease, but with uncompromising fidelity to a wisdom far greater than our own. It is a continuous, moment-by-moment choice to let the divine text veto our internal logic, our immediate feelings, and the insistent demands of the culture around us. It is the understanding that what appears correct to our limited vision often conceals a spiritual or moral dead end. Our mission is to embrace the simplicity of execution, to hear the command to pray, to avoid toxic company, to refuse anxiety, or to respond with grace to aggression, and to act immediately, without demanding a full explanation. The enduring legacy of faith is built not on grand, dramatic gestures, but on the quiet, persistent accumulation of these small, daily acts of surrender. We are called to cultivate a heart that is so utterly devoted and a spirit so completely disciplined that the natural reaction to any divine instruction is a willing, immediate, and joyful yes. May this commitment to cultivating an unqualified, obedient spirit define our steps from this moment forward. This is the life of profound alignment, and the only path that guarantees a destination of enduring peace. If this entire exploration has ignited a renewed determination within your soul, now is the crucial moment to solidify that resolve. Hit the like button right now to affirm this commitment to obedience. Share your final, powerful thought in the comments section below. And, most importantly, subscribe to the channel immediately to ensure you never miss the continuing stream of guidance designed to fortify your spirit and illuminate your path. Do not let this moment of inspiration fade. Act now.